In episode 40 of Mega Real Estate Talk, we're doing something a little bit different. This is our version of EXP Explained. We are going to break down the company from start to finish, so by the end of it, you know all the ins and outs of EXP Realty.
You're listening to Mega Real Estate Talk with Jared Davis and Galen Parker, your source for an honest, insightful look into Central Virginia's real estate market. Combined, Jared and Galen have over 20 years sales experience, as well as hundreds of testimonials from clients past and present who rely on them for advice and assistance when buying and selling homes in today's incredibly hot and competitive real estate market. And now, your hosts, Jared Davis and Galen Parker.
I am Jared Davis.
And I am still Galen Parker.
And in this episode, we've got no small talk because we have a lot to dive into. This is our version of EXP Explained. We're going to break down why we moved, why EXP is different than every other brokerage out there, and hopefully by the end of it, you're going to have a good grasp on what it means for you if you were thinking about making a move. Now, if you're looking to make a move, if you're looking to build your team, or if you're a solo agent looking to grow, feel free to reach out to us. We are helping people all over not only the country but the world build their EXP teams and businesses. You can reach me at jared@centralvarealty.com. You can reach Galen at
centralvarealty.com.
__ the Davis Group on Instagram.
Your realtor's favorite realtor, RVA.
That's right. Feel free to comment up, like, subscribe, follow. Let's get right into it, Galen.
So we wanted to just kind of talk about our story, Jared, real quick. Why did we move from our former brokerage to EXP?
So I was with Remax rather for about 8 years before I got approached with EXP, and I was very happy at Remax. They did a fantastic job. We had an office there. I was the number one agent out of that Remax office. We were starting to build the team. I just felt like I started to have some pain points as far as growth was concerned. We were the number one person in that office at that point, the number one team. So as far as having the mentorship to try to grow and scale, it just wasn't really there.
Right.
At this point, I knew nothing about some of the other revenue share, stock, business ownership things that EXP had to offer. I just knew that I probably needed to do a little bit more or get somewhere else if I was going to grow. I was kind of the big fish in the little pond.
Now, you mentioned that you didn't know about certain things. I mean, obviously, we didn't move after the very first time someone reached out to us. Why do you think you didn't, or why do you think we didn't? Why do you think other agents don't move?
You know, I think, one, moving's uncomfortable.
We hate change.
Right? And especially if you're a busy agent, right? If you're listening to this and you're like running a team of 20 people or 30 people, and then you got to think to yourself, I got to redesign logos, I got to redesign signs, I got to redesign this, I got to figure out a new transaction system, I got to figure out how this one works. Like, it's a lot. And if you're already heavy into production, it can be a nightmare to think, all right, I got to order 50 more signs and this and that. So that's part of it. The second is that I find that most people are content enough to not make a change, right? It's kind of like, it ain't that broke.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
you're right on.
You know, we're making some good money over here. And it's like, yeah, but what if you could do this? And so for the first time that people reached out to me, originally EXP just wasn't really that known in the area. Now we're like the number one brokerage here in our area. But originally it was kind of like, what is this?
Yeah.
Right?
I remember like you meeting with the person that approached you, and like you watched the video. Then I remember you sending me the video, and it took me a while to watch it. Then I just told you, like, man, I don't really care. I was just kind of like, dude, we're best friends. We're going to work together wherever we go. And like, I looked at it, I'm like, it looks good. I'm like, if this is all real, I was like, this is good. I support the move. And there's other people on our team, but I think they had even a smaller care. Really.
And they're like, we're behind Jared. We're behind Jared's vision. We're behind this.
Yeah.
And if he sees the vision, we'll see the vision. And that's pretty much it.
Here's the fun thing that I love is that the one person who wasn't on board, and he was like, I love you guys, and our friendship was going to last forever anyways. And he was like, but I'm not going to make the move. He later made the move. He's
with us. Shout out to you.
EXP.
You know who you are.
He was gone for like a year, then he like came back. It's like it's change is tough, and as you mentioned, a lot of times you're watching this episode right now, and you love your brokerage. You love what's going on. You probably love your splits, but eventually there might be a pain point like us. There was a pain point that arose, and we're just like, if we could just do this would like help us, impact us in such a great way.
It's not time till it's time, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. So it took me a little bit, but then once I saw it and it clicked, I just couldn't go back. Every time I went back to the Remax office, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I gotta get out. I gotta get out.
I've been doing this for almost 10 years now with realtors, and I know realtors now that I've talked to them about EXP, knowing what I've known with you guys and everything, and it's still shocking to me the things they say to me of like the reason why. And I'm like,
hasn't clicked yet, and that's why we're doing this. That's the whole reason, so that hopefully it'll start to click. Galen?
Very nice. So one of the things that's important when we think about EXP is we use the term industry disruptor, and you're probably thinking like, what in the world does that mean? So think back at certain businesses that came out of growth of just pain points. So let's look at your Ubers. You think of your Netflixes. You think of your Airbnbs, and just how those things came about. When you think about like Netflix, like they approached Blockbuster and said like, hey, we're kind of a fledgling, we're getting a start. Do you want to just buy us? And like on record, the owner of Blockbuster was just like, they will never touch us. These Redbox and Netflix will never make a dent in our business. And now look, right now, if you wanted to find a Blockbuster, there's like one left.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Biggest hotel company in the world?
Oh yeah, for sure. Who is it?
Airbnb.
Airbnb is
no
the
hotels.
number one.
They own nothing.
It's just a bunch of houses around, right?
Yeah.
Think about Uber, like taxis. It's like I don't know when the last time I was in an actual taxi. I know exactly when I was in Uber.
Don't you feel skeezy when you're in an actual taxi? Aren't you like, is this safe?
Like now Uber is like, not only we'll take you something, we'll just bring you food, right?
That's it.
So these are industry disruptors. They looked at pain points, and now these places, not brick and mortar. The guy who has like his Uber or his Airbnb, it's just like one little outfit. But it's all cloud-based, and that's what's unique about EXP. It's a cloud-based business. So what does that mean for you? Well, it means that there's no office that you've got to pay for. There's no phones that you're paying for. The desk, all of these things, all of the money that you're saving is going straight into Glenn Sanford's pocket alone.
Nope.
No, that is not correct. So 50% of all of the revenue that is generated and saved goes back to the agents who are part owners, and that's part of the equity.
So let's talk about that for a second, because you say 50% of the profits, 50% of revenue. But when you think about the standard model, when you look at how this thing broke down originally, how is every real estate brokerage built out? Now, we're talking majors. We're not talking about a boutique brokerage. If you're running your own brokerage, you have this same model, but you don't have the franchise side. But let's take your major. So you're watching this video, and you're like, I'm thinking about EXP, but I'm also looking at RE/MAX. I'm looking at Long & Foster. I'm looking at Keller Williams, I'm looking at Coldwell Banker, Sotheby's, whatever it is, right? These companies are set up with essentially a founder at the top, right? You say, I'm Gary Keller, or I started RE/MAX, whatever it is, right? Now, those founders went out, and as they started to grow their company, they got regions because they needed to get their offices into another region. So you have your founders at the top, then they took their regions, and they said, okay, we're going to give somebody access to this mid-Atlantic region, or this southern region, or this midwestern region, so that they can go out and build offices. Now, that regional manager owner goes out, and now he starts to sell territories. He sells franchises. They start locking in territories. Now, you think, now you have a franchise. So you got a franchise owner who now has his own overhead. He has to now open an office, whether he purchases, whether he does a lease on brick and mortar. He's got to have staff that staffs that office. He has to have his own recruiters because they have to go out and grow. He's got to have a supervising broker if he's not going to be the supervising broker. Payroll, furnishings, electric, utilities, all of these things are built in. And then at the very bottom, you have your agents. Now those agents get to work on a split, whatever it may be. But now think about this. That split has to now go up the line. It's got to pay the staff, the recruiters, the office, the owner of the franchise, the regional owner, the regions, and now to the top, the founders with royalty fees. And if you look at it, maybe Mike could even draw this in the podcast. That to me looks like a pyramid. So when I hear pyramid, I always laugh because I think, you know what you're working right now. So what happened is EXP swiped all of that. They crossed out the regions. They crossed out the franchises. They crossed out the overhead with brick and mortar. And they said, we're going to give you, the agent, not only an insane split, better than almost everybody else out there, but then on top of that, that split that you pay up, since it skips all of that stuff and goes straight to the founder, that founding company is going to take 50% of that revenue and then turn around and give it back to us, the agent, as a reward for growing the company.
Absolutely. And I think that's a big thing, because that pyramid, that's the comment you'll hear all the time. Like, yeah, there's people talking like, I don't want anything to do with that pyramid. It's just like, all right, so where are you? They're like, you're with X brokerage. I'm like, oh, so you pay him, and he pays him, and pay him, pay him, and you're like way down here. And I'm like, it sounds like there's a lot of people standing on your neck.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that you're paying, and no one's paying you other than your sales.
You see how that's an issue? So that's really good, and we can talk about revenue share at this time or any other times you have more questions. This is going to be really brief, but if you have any questions, by all means, feel free to put a comment below, send us a direct message, because we're happy to talk about that. But one of the things that we want to make sure people understand is the difference between revenue share and profit share, because they're not the same thing. Now, profit share is when you get money after the expenses. That's the profit. It's like, all right, after I paid out all these things. Well, that's not what revenue share is. Revenue share is when you're getting the part of the split from helping someone else or bringing someone on or building your own business. That goes directly into your pocket. And that is one of the huge differences that you're going to see with EXP.
And it's so easy to do the math. In fact, we have a spreadsheet that breaks it down. So if you have like a team and you say, hey, I've got 20 agents, what would it look like if I came over and brought my 20 agents? I can actually plug it into a spreadsheet, and it will mathematically calculate exactly how much you will make per year on rev share. It's amazing because it lets you track fully. Whereas you give other people like, Keller Williams, nothing against them. They built an amazing company.
Absolutely.
Great place to be, right? No hate for that. But with that profit share, anytime I've talked to any agent there, I'm like, well, how much do you make if you bring 10 agents or if you brought a 5-agent team? And you can't, because you're like, well, we don't know what the office's profits are going to be. So that is one of the biggest things, is that it's known. So there's really 5 pillars that you get to enjoy when you're with EXP. With a standard company, you're going to deal with just the commissions. You got to sneeze, Galen? You all right?
It's like so close.
Hopefully you don't see Galen on camera right now. Anyways, so you got five pillars to enjoy here, all right? You essentially become owners of the company when you come in. Now, that happens through stock ownership. How do you get stock, you may ask? Well, there's a handful of different ways that you get stock. Essentially, when you sell your first deal of the year, you're going to get free stock. Galen, do you have the amounts there? If so, I'll spit them out. If not, it's not a big deal.
I don't have the amount.
I think it's $400.
Yeah.
If you bring somebody into the company on their first deal, they're going to give you more free stock. And when you hit your actual cap, you're going to be given stock. That's 3 ways right there for 3 free stock advantages without doing anything to take ownership of the company. Now, the 4th is what I get excited about. Now, with EXP, you cap like a lot of other companies. There's a $16,000 cap in place. But if you're doing, let's call it 30 deals a year in an average market, the way that it breaks down is you can become an icon agent, and they're going to give you your entire $16,000 cap back in the form of stock. So you get a way to essentially cap out for free. Now, the last thing, other than just buying the shares, which you can totally go on and buy shares, publicly traded, there's what's called the agent equity program. Now, what that does is it lets you take 5% of your commission out of every check if you want. You don't have to do it, but you can. And it will buy company stock, and it will buy it at a 10% discount, which you can then sell within 30 days. So if you want to just take a 10% gain on 5% of your commission throughout the year, you can 100% do that. So that's pillar number 1, ownership. The second thing is you have an invite to earn this revenue share. I like to call it referral sharing, because that's ultimately what it is. It's a referral fee on the deals you do, and that referral fee doesn't come out of the agent's commission. It comes out of EXP's side. So
say that again for people to understand, because I was talking to someone last year. They didn't understand that.
Yeah, so they think, well, if you're going to make money off of me, then now I'm making less. But you don't, because you're still getting your full share, your 80%. That 20% that's going toward your 16 cap. And again, after you pay that 16 cap, you go to 100%, right? You're done with rev share for the year at that point. So once that happens, that 16, that's what gets shared back to the agents that bring you in. So I look at it as a referral fee. If an agent calls me right now and says, I have a deal, I have a buyer for you to help, will you pay me a referral fee for it? I say 100%. So I look at it as having an organization of hundreds of people, of thousands of people paying me little referral fees every single month for the business that they're doing, whether I'm involved or not. So that's another revenue stream stream, something that you can retire with when you stop selling. Third way is leads and a CRM. We give you KV Core. It's totally free. It's a $400 to $600 product if you were to buy the CRM on your own. With EXP, it's included as part of your monthly $85 tech fee. So you have a CRM, you have lead gen, and all of those things. The fourth thing, world-class training by elite agents. Not only are we doing over 70 hours of training online in EXP World virtually, but as part of our actual organization, our group, we are doing not only masterminds in person, but we do training every week on Zoom on Monday. We have another training session every other week, so that we've got one that's bi-weekly, one that's weekly. We have a coaching program we spent thousands of dollars on that gives you modules and things like that you can run through if you're part of our group. And on top of all of that, we are completely opening our playbook to you if you partner with us. So I run the number 2 team with EXP in all of Central Virginia. The person that runs the number 1 team is the one that brought me in Central Virginia. And there's only 8 mega teams in all of our state, and 4 of them are in our line and on our mastermind meeting. So that's just Virginia. We also have people in Utah, in Florida, in Hawaii, in Texas, in Seattle, in Germany, in Brazil that are all partnering and sharing. We will give you everything, our listing presentations, our buyers presentations, all of those things. So you get to partner with people that are where you want to be. And then the last pillar is healthcare. We have health insurance. What other brokerages
Clearview, right?
Yep. And it's great. It's about half the price of what it is in network. It's group insurance. It's fantastic. So those are the 5 pillars that you get to enjoy.
Yeah. And one of the things I wanted to just go back, because maybe you're an agent and you're thinking, well, I'm never going to be a mega icon agent, right? But you still benefit because if you were listening to what Jared said, is as these agents from different brokerages, these top producers, Keller Williams, Remax, all these big guys come in, for them to be an icon agent, it's not just that they sell like these 20 or 30 transactions. They also have to volunteer their team back to train other agents. So you're getting the training from like the top Remax guy or the top Keller guy who just came into EXP. So like you should be taking notes and be like, all right, here's how he did it. He's opening up. He's being very honest as far as what works, what doesn't, very transparent. That is a benefit for you, a person who maybe they're doing only 12 transactions and they're perfectly happy with that, but you're still taking advantage of it. And the other thing that we keep using the word capped. If you're not in the real estate industry, you might not know, but capped just means that you've sold enough that you no longer pay to your brokerage. You pay a flat fee. But that should remind you of the fact that agents at EXP, they're being productive. We're still in the selling real estate game. And Jared, you mentioned earlier, where is EXP locally as far as brokerages in our area?
We are the number 2 as of about 6 months ago, and I haven't tracked it. We were about to pass into the number 1. So I would imagine that by the end of this year, we will be the number 1 selling brokerage in Richmond, Virginia. And it's like that in many markets. Charlotte, North Carolina, they're the number 1 brokerage. The last I checked. I mean, it is growing, but it's not growing at such a rate that it's too late. That's another thing we hear from agents all the time. It's just too late to get in. It's not. Every day people are contacting us and they're trying to say, okay, I think I'm ready to look at this. What's the deal? We have 80,000 agents now at this brokerage as of today. We're sitting, because I don't know when this video is going to go live, we're sitting June 2022.
Okay.
That's when we're recording this. If you're listening, our goal is 500,000 agents in 5 years. So think about what that does for a company that gives you free stock. Again, and we can't speculate what share prices are going to do or anything like that. But to me, looking at it, we have a company that has 0 debt, that's doing over $1 billion in revenue a quarter, that just introduced a dividend. You know, I'm fully invested in this company. Yeah. I have been here this is my 3rd year. It'll be a full 3 years by January, and I've yet to have any negative price paid out for any year that I've been with EXP. So I have been 100% plus every year since I have joined, to the tune of some 6 figures on some of those years. So if you are watching this and you're at a brokerage that pays you 100% commission plus gives you an extra 6 figures per year, and you can guarantee that will continue to grow at a rapid rate, feel free to let me know.
DM us so we can switch to your brokerage.
I'll move my whole team, right? I've got 25 right this second, just on my team, not in our rev share group. That's just our team here. I'll move the whole team under you, and you can call me and you can explain what it is and how it's better. But if not, and you've watched this and you say, wow, I'd like to know more. Wow, I'd like to talk to these guys. Let's set up a private meeting. feel free to reach out to us. Please give us a call. I'll even put my direct number in this one. I don't do this in most of my videos. I do my email, but my cell is 804-536-6100. You can email me at Jared, Jared, at centralvarealty.com. Galen?
I am at 804-274-9016. Galen at centralvarealty.com.
Is that everything?
That is everything. We just wanted to make sure that you guys got a nice little touch of what it is. You're probably going to have questions, naturally, like we had questions. Please reach out to us.
That is EXP Explained by the Davis Group at EXP Realty. We look forward from hearing from you. Like, subscribe, comment. Let us help you grow your business. Thanks for watching. This is episode 40 of Mega Real Estate Talk.
If you have a real estate question that you would like to ask Jared or Galen, reach out to them at Jared at centralvarealty.com or Galen at centralvarealty.com. Who knows, it may even be featured on an upcoming episode.